Hey folks, so this is an introduction to section 1.2. I'd like to take a look at some terminology that we're going to be using a good bit this semester. Notice that the very first thing I have is 4 different notations that you're going to run into. You have interval notation, set builder notation, graph notation, and listing notation. I want to just give you a few examples of each one of these so that you'll be familiar with it and you'll be able to recognize it when you see it. So the first set of examples I'd like to show you is the interval notation examples. And I have 4 different examples here, and each of these examples only has 2 numbers inside of each one. You can never have more, you can never have less for interval notation. You must have a beginning and an ending. The round parenthesis simply means that that number is not included, and the square bracket means that that number is included. The second set of examples is going to be the set builder notation example. And set builder notation, you'll notice as I uncover these, they all have the same thing. They all have curly Q brackets, first of all. And the second thing is that they all have an X and a bar. I want you to understand that that bar that you see, this is the bar that says such that. So all of these start out X such that, and then after that, there's a description of what the set is doing. So in this case, my set of numbers are all less than 4. And the next one, my set of numbers, they're all between the numbers -7 and +3. Notice that the symbol here, I am not including the -7, but I am including the 3. And this lines up with the interval notation. So if you're paying attention, you'll see that this particular set builder notation is the exact same set of numbers as this interval notation is. The same thing with the first one that I talked about. This is the exact same set of numbers that this is, just 2 different ways of writing the same thing. The third example that I have for set builder notation is all the numbers between 10 and 12, and I'm including both of those. And then the last one, it's X such that X is greater than or equal to -10. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to take each one of these sets and I'd like to graph them. So the first set, from -infinity up to 4, but not including the 4, you'll see that I have a number line here. I'm going to use the exact same symbols that I use on the intervals. So I have a round parentheses here on the 4, and I'm going to use everything less than the 4. So this is what the graph would look like for the graphing notation. For the next example, from -7 to 3, I'm starting at -7. Using a round parenthesis on -7, I'm ending at +3, but I'm including the +3, and I want everything in between. The third example, I'm starting at 10, but I'm including the 10, so I'll use a square bracket. I'm ending at 12, including that number, using everything in between. And last but not least, I want all of the numbers from -10 to infinity, or greater than or equal to -10. So I'm going to use a square bracket on the -10, and I'm going to show that I'm using everything greater than or equal to that -10. The last thing is listing notation. Now this is different. This is sort of the oddball of the group. Listing notation is only used when you have a very small amount of numbers in your set. And we always use the curly Q brackets here. So here I only have 3 numbers in my set. -2, +4, and +7. Or maybe I only have 2 numbers in my set. Or third example, I only have 1 number in my set. And a last example, again, I have 3 numbers in my set. So this is for a very small number of items in the set. The other 3 options that I've already run through with you, these are all what you would use when you have an infinite number of items in your set.